Attention passionate New York Giants fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on New York Giants' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true New York Giants fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and New York Giants fans. Let's get to the news. Now guys, if you've been paying attention to the NFL news cycle lately, you know that the Giants are constantly trying to stay ahead of the curve, trying to build a roster that can contend not just this season, but for years to come. And this recent roster move, or rather, the intriguing roster puzzle, is just another example of how the Giants are maneuvering in the shadows of the NFL's cut deadline, trying to find those hidden gems that can make all the difference in the long run. It all started with a surprising waiver claim that has NFL fans and Giants fans alike talking. The Giants, after the roster cuts on August 26, suddenly claimed Beanie Bishop Jr., a cornerback who just a few months ago was a starting player for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, this wasn't just a random pickup. Bishop had shown some serious flashes in his rookie year, starting 6 games and appearing in all 17, and racking up 4 interceptions along the way. For a 7th-round pick, that's pretty impressive. But then, out of nowhere, the Steelers decided to waive him this summer. And that's where things get interesting because, as you know, NFL teams don't just give away talented young players unless there's a reason. So why did Pittsburgh, with all its depth and star power at cornerback, suddenly cut Bishop? And why would the Giants, who already have a solid nickel corner in Drew Phillips and Cordell Flott capable of playing that role, go after him? It seems a bit puzzling, right? Well, one thing to consider is that Bishop's preseason performance for the Steelers wasn't bad at all. According to Pro Football Focus, he posted coverage grades of 80, 4 and 87. 3 in the 2 preseason games, he played quite solid numbers for a guy trying to make a roster. He did miss a couple of tackles early on, which is typical for rookies trying to find their rhythm, but in coverage, he only allowed 8 catches off 14 targets for just 48 yards, with a passer rating of 64. 0 across those games. Not only that, but he was credited with 3 key defensive stops and 2 pass breakups. So, why was he cut? Well, the NFL is a business, and sometimes it's less about performance and more about roster composition and team strategy. Pittsburgh's offseason additions, like Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, and Brandon Eccles, along with the presence of Joey Porter Jr., made the cornerback room pretty crowded. The Steelers also drafted Dante Kent in the 7th round, and even though Kent missed the entire preseason with injury, he's a player they're high on for the future. So, it seems like Bishop was caught in a numbers game, a victim of an influx of talent at that position. But here's the thing that really catches the eye: the Giants, known for their keen eye for underrated talent, saw something in Bishop that perhaps others overlooked. Remember, he's just 25 years old, and he's already shown he can handle the NFL level, starting as a rookie and earning playing time for a team that's historically been stingy against the pass. The Giants are always looking to add depth at cornerback, especially with the versatility they need in today's NFL, where nickel packages are paramount. So, bringing in Bishop makes a ton of sense, especially considering the fact that he's still relatively young and has room to grow. But of course, this isn't just about adding depth. It's a statement: the Giants are serious about maximizing their roster, even if it means taking a chance on a guy who was just waived by another team. Now let's talk about the other side of the coin: Nick Jones, the Giants' current slot specialist. Nick had a roller coaster preseason, to say the least. His second game against the Jets was a standout, earning a PFF coverage grade of 89.2, which is excellent. But his debut was rough, allowing 6 catches on 6 targets for 82 yards and a touchdown, with a pass rating against of 158.3, which is about as bad as it gets. He also missed a tackle in each of his first 2 appearances this preseason. Still, he showed resilience, bouncing back in the subsequent games where he only allowed 2 receptions for 4 yards against the Jets and 1 reception for 4 yards against the Patriots. He added 3 key stops and a pass breakup across those outings, showing flashes of the player the Giants saw when they drafted him. It's a classic case of a young player adjusting to the NFL, learning from mistakes, and trying to carve out a permanent role in a crowded secondary. And of course, the Giants coaching staff has been watching every move closely. They've seen Jones improve, and his coverage skills in the last two games definitely turned some heads. But the question that lingers is whether Nick Jones has done enough to secure his spot when a high-upside player like Bishop is available on waivers. It's a tough call, but one that the Giants will have to make in the coming days. They've shown a willingness to take calculated risks, and the fact that Bishop has been more consistent in the preseason might give him a slight edge. Still, roster decisions like these are never just about performance. They're about potential, fit, and the long-term plans of the team. This move also speaks volumes about the Giants' approach this season. They're clearly aiming for a balanced roster that can adapt to different situations on the field. The secondary, in particular, has been a focus this offseason. With the addition of players like Bishop, they're trying to build depth that can withstand injuries, especially in a league where the injury bug always seems to hit at the worst possible time. The Giants, front office, and coaching staff have been emphasizing versatility, and Bishop's ability to play various roles in the secondary makes him a valuable asset. And let's not forget the bigger picture here. The NFC East is fiercely competitive this year. The Eagles, Cowboys, and Redskins are all loaded with talent, and any edge the Giants can find, especially in their secondary, could be the difference between a playoff appearance and an early exit. The secondary has been a position of concern in recent seasons, but this move signals that the Giants are not content to sit back and hope everything falls into place. They're actively seeking ways to improve, whether through draft picks, free agency, or sneaky waiver claims like Bishop. Now, I want to take a moment to reflect on the history of the Giants' roster-building philosophy. This team has always been about resilience, about finding overlooked talent, and about building a culture that values hard work and adaptability. Players like Nick Jones and Beanie Bishop Jr. fit that mold perfectly. They're not the biggest names, but they're fighters, and they have the potential to develop into key contributors. The NFL is a league where opportunity meets preparation, and right now, Bishop is getting that shot in New York. If he can continue to develop within the Giants system, he might become a crucial piece for this team's secondary, especially in critical moments late in games. And speaking of that, the Giants coaching staff, led by Brian Daboll and his staff, are known for their strategic acumen. They've shown in the past that they're not afraid to make bold moves when they believe it will benefit the team. Whether it's trusting young players, making mid-season adjustments, or taking advantage of waiver wire opportunities, they've built a reputation for being flexible and forward-thinking. This move to bring in Bishop could be one of those strategic gambits, aiming to bolster the secondary without breaking the bank or sacrificing long-term development. Of course, all of this is happening in the context of a team that's coming off a season where their defense, especially the secondary, was a bit of a mixed bag. There were games when the pass defense looked solid, and others where it struggled against elite quarterbacks. The Giants' goal this year is to tighten that up, and adding a player like Bishop, who has shown he can make plays at the NFL level, is a step in that direction. It's also a message to the rest of the league, and to their own players that they're serious about competing at the highest level, and they're willing to make tough decisions to get there. Now, let's talk about the division and the NFC East in general. With teams like the Eagles, who have a dynamic offense and a stout defense, and the Cowboys, always a tough opponent with a strong secondary and talented pass rush, the Giants need every advantage they can get. The secondary can often be the wild card in these matchups, especially when it comes to defending high-powered offenses. So every addition, every cut, every waiver claim could be the difference maker in close games that decide division titles or playoff seeding. The Giants are aware of this, and that's why they're so aggressive in roster management. And don't forget the long-term implications. Building depth in the secondary isn't just about this season. It's about creating a pipeline of talent that can sustain the team through injuries, unforeseen circumstances, and roster churn. Players like Bishop, who may not have been on the radar a few months ago, could develop into starters down the line. The Giants are betting on their ability to develop talent and make smart decisions, and that's what keeps this franchise competitive year after year. So as we look ahead, it'll be fascinating to see how Bishop fits into the Giants' defensive scheme, how he adapts to the team's culture, and whether he can fulfill the promise he showed early in his career. The coaching staff will undoubtedly be working with him closely, helping him refine his skills, especially in coverage and tackling. The secondary's success will be crucial, especially as the Giants face tougher opponents in the regular season and hopefully the playoffs. And now, New York Giants fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this move? Do you see Bishop becoming a key piece in the Giants' secondary? Or do you think Nick Jones will hold on to his spot based on his recent improvements? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the team. Remember, every insight, every debate, helps us all understand this team better and supports the passion we share. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, more analysis, and all the latest news from the Giants camp. So stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's keep this conversation going. Because at the end of the day, we're all part of this Giants family, and together, we're aiming for another Super Bowl run. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Giants.